Hey guys, how are you doing? Hello, build a six-figure coaching business. How are you guys doing today? Come on in. I'm just doing a little check right now while we go live. Make sure you guys can see what I can see on my screen here. Okay, cool. So if you are watching our lesson today on how to create a killer coaching package, drop me a line. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always so cool to see who is joining us from around the world. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from and what your coaching niche is. What type of coach are you? Okay, we'll give you guys just a minute here while you come in. Make sure I can see your comments. I am happy to answer questions as I kind of go through this training today. I'll keep my eyes on the questions for you guys. I see Susan in Ohio. Hey, Susan. Annette, Laura, Liz. Hey, guys. How are you? Terry is in Burlington. Hey, Terry. Good stuff. All right, guys. Let's get started here because, there's a bit to cover here. I am actually going to do a screen share today. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we're going to get started here. Make this bigger. Okay. Boom. All right, cool. So guys, my name is Betty Kempa. I am a business coach. I help corporate professionals ditch the 9-to-5 and build a six-figure coaching business through my signature methodology, the 5 C's of building a six-figure coaching business. So today I'm going to walk you guys through how to create a killer package using your own unique signature methodology. All right, so here's what's on the agenda today. I'll give you guys a little bit of background. It seems like every time I do a training, there's somebody new who's like, who's this chick? So I'll give you a little background on who I am. But really then we'll move right into the training. So what I'm going to cover with you guys today is what works when it comes to a coaching package, what works versus what does not work. We are going to talk about how to create your own unique signature coaching methodology, how to create a coaching package resource toolkit for your clients, which is really fun, and then just really how to scale and simplify your coaching packages so you're not all over the place. Then we'll wrap it up with a what's next, right? What comes after this? So again, feel free to drop any questions. If I don't answer them for some reason as I'm moving along, I will spend some time answering them at the end, and then I will hop back in for the replay watchers and also answer within the Facebook Live. Okay, guys. So a little bit about me for those of you guys who haven't met me yet. Before I moved into coaching, I was a corporate communications leader at various Fortune 500 companies. So for me, my backstory, after 10 years in corporate America, I realized it was not for me. And I really craved that freedom to run my own business. I don't know if some of you relate to this, but for me, really the only part of my day in the corporate world that I actually enjoyed was the part where I got to coach some of my direct reports. But at the time, I didn't really understand how that translated into a separate career. So for me, I did a lot of soul searching, as I'm sure all of you did. I did a lot of research and I found out about coaching. And I was scared. I was scared to take the leap out of the corporate world into entrepreneurship. But then lo and behold, I got laid off from my corporate job. And I took that as a sign from the universe to go for it and to start my own coaching business. So for those of you who are familiar with IPEC, I am an IPEC graduate and ELIMP. When I first started out in the coaching world, my niche was career coaching. That's how I started. And why? Because I wanted to help unfulfilled corporate women just like me figure out what kind of career would make them happy. Ironically, of course, this is ironic, but my superpower in business was really leaning into my expertise from my former corporate communications job. Because in that former corporate job, I had to create content that would be compelling and engaging to the consumer and inspire them to take action. So I began to take this knowledge and use it as an entrepreneur building my business. And that's what really allowed me to pivot my client attraction strategy to 100% virtual content marketing. And when I did that, that was the unlock, right? That's how I was able to achieve 6 figures my first year in business as a career coach. And I did achieve this without spending any money on Facebook ads or, you see all those challenges that people do, webinars, right? I didn't do any of that crazy stuff. I was very kind of focused in my virtual content marketing strategy. Now, what I had started to see over time, the type of clients seeking me out, they increasingly no longer were corporate professionals who wanted another corporate job. Those weren't the people I was attracting. I was attracting clients that wanted to ditch the corporate job and become a coach. And essentially, they wanted me to teach them how to replicate my system and replace their corporate income. So that's the path that I took. That's how I transitioned into business coaching for coaches, teaching the 5 C's of building a 6-figure coaching business. This is truly my passion. This is where I feel the most in my element. So love it. I've been featured in the Muse and Forbes and JobScan and a bunch of other publications. I'm on the Forbes Coaches Council, and I'm currently based out of Denver, where I live with my significant other, who's a personal trainer, and my 2 little kitty cats, who like. Okay, so let's dive in here. How to create a killer coaching package that sells. Hey, Darlene, I see. Oh my gosh, Darlene, it is so snowy in Dallas. Crazy. I know it's freezing out there. Nice to see you. Hey, Amy. Hey, Soul. Nice to see all you guys. Okay, so we're going to get into how to create a killer coaching package that sells. While I get up and running here, if you guys have a question, drop it in the chat. Let me know what your question is around creating a killer coaching package that sells. Also, feel free to drop a link to your own coaching package, right? If you want to share with some of our fellow coaches to check out what you got going on. Okay. So when it comes to coaching packages, first I want to talk about what doesn't work. What doesn't work? So what doesn't work? First I would say shorter engagements, right? And when you think about being a coach, why did we become coaches? We want to create true, massive, transformational change. That's what we're here to do. That does not happen in one-off coaching sessions. I read somewhere it takes 90 days to form a habit. That's just a habit, right? We're not even necessarily talking about the big, massive transformational change. So think about that. Shorter engagements, not so much. Lower ticket, right? So this Facebook group, this program is build a 6-figure coaching business, right? That's what this is. So if you're selling a low ticket, the truth is you're going to burn out. You're going to totally burn out this way, hustling to sell a bunch of low ticket one-off sessions. And the problem with that is, when you're burning out, you're no longer any use to the client, right? Because you're all over the place and you're spread too thin. One-off digital courses. So if you've got a one-off digital course, the cool thing is you can still use that. You can still use that in how you build out your package. It's actually a really awesome supplement to a high-ticket coaching package. But just to launch a digital course one-off, that takes a lot of work. I mean, it takes a lot of work to launch a one-off digital course. You can do it, but I think a much easier way is to sell this kind of high ticket coaching package and fold into that your digital course. Make that a part of this higher ticket coaching package. Last thing that doesn't work, too many options, too many choices. I do a lot of, I haven't done them as much anymore just from a timing perspective. I'm a little pressed for time, but I used to be doing a lot of audits with you guys. And what I see often is, when it comes to services and coaching packages, people are offering too much stuff. It's too confusing for the client, right? They've got 3, 4, 5 options. The thing is, the client doesn't know what they need, right? If the client doesn't know if they need 4 sessions or 6 or 12, all the client knows is that they have a pain point that they need to solve. And it's up to you as the coach and the expert to create a program that you can tell them, hey, this program, this length of engagement will get you from pain to dream. Okay. Check in the comments here. Hey, Amy. Okay. So how to create a high value, high ticket, high transformation coaching package, right? That's the name of the game. Why do you want to sell a high value, high ticket package versus hourly or smaller one-off session bundles that don't have a real pathway from pain to dream? Why a package? And by the way, I know some of you know this. You know, I always have to start with the why. I can't just start to plow into the how. So, answer in the comments here. Why would you want to sell a high value, high ticket, high transformation coaching package versus a one-off session? Drop it in the comments if you're with me here. Okay. Now, I'll give you some of my reasons while you guys are sharing your thoughts on this. First, you can't create a 6-figure business by selling by the hour or selling in small bundles. It's not a sustainable business model, right? And I want you guys to be in this for the long haul. That's an exhausting business model. 2, you can't create real transformational change for the client that way, right? We already talked about how long it takes to create real transformational change, right? That takes a minute. But also, when you're creating a high value, high ticket, high transformation coaching package, this is the stuff that ensures you have a client who has skin in the game and that they are fully committed. And I know you guys are probably just like me. We all want to work with clients who are committed to the process, right? We don't want to work with people half in, half out, right? So let's talk about principle number 1, creating a signature coaching methodology. Susan says people see more value with a higher price ticket. It's true. It's true. I mean, that's, you're making a statement. You're positioning in the market a certain way. That's so true, Amy. That's so true, Susan. Amy says more value to the client and greater success rate for helping the client and less exhausting. Every single one of those is so, so true, Amy. Absolutely. Yep, it's a win-win. And for those of you from IPEC, this is what I'm talking about, a level 5, energy exchange, right? It's a win for everybody. So let's get into principle number 1, create a signature coaching methodology. So when I'm talking about a methodology, what am I talking about? This could be like your framework, your model, your formula, but essentially it's 3 to 5 steps to get your clients from pain to dream, right? This is your unique signature coaching methodology that moves them from pain to dream. And there are 2 types of signature coaching methodologies that you can create. So example number 1, when you're like, okay, I want to create a signature coaching methodology. Okay, you got to decide. Type number 1 is steps. So when I say steps, I mean sequential steps. So in this example, this is my program, my signature methodology, the 5 C's of building a 6-figure coaching business, right? I've got step 1, choose the right niche and really locking in your messaging. Part 2 is we're kind of touching on part 2 today, right? Creating a killer coaching package. Part 3, curtains up, launch your brand the right way. Part 4, your client attraction system. And part 5, closing the deal, right? So these are steps that I walk people through in order, right? That's example number 1. Example number 2 is what I would call pillars or buckets, right? Something like that. This is a little bit blurry on the screen here, but hopefully you guys can kind of get the point here. In this example, it's not sequential. It doesn't have to come in any order. You can dip into and out of each of these buckets, right? So like with a health coach, one of my clients was a health coach, right? This is not her package, but this is an example, right? So maybe with a health coach, they have 5 pillars: self, movement, stillness, nutrition, and community. Now that's not sequential. They don't have to walk their clients through that in order. They're probably going to dip in and out of that, but they're showcasing to their client, hey, I've got a framework. I got a method, right? And we're going to make sure that you are locked and loaded in each of these pillars. So for you guys, I want you to think about, when you're creating a signature method, are you creating a method in chronological order, in steps, right? Like on my first example, when you're getting your client from dream to goal, or are you going to create in buckets or pillars, right? So it's fluid. So drop in the comments if you guys already know, or, even if you don't have it locked and loaded yet, but you're thinking about it, do you think your package is going to be sequential in steps, like example 1? Or do you think your package is probably going to be in pillars or buckets, like example 2? Okay. So regardless of whether you go with the steps, like my first example, or pillars, at the end of the day, you guys, it's all about getting your clients from pain to dream, right? From pain to dream. They come to you in pain. Your job as the coach is to coach them to their dream or their goal. And when I say the dream or the goal, I'm talking about your what in your I help who with what statement, right? We all have an I help who with what statement. So you need to build a bridge to move your client from where she is now when she comes to you to where she wants to be and what she hired you to help her do. Okay? All right. So signature coaching methodology, why are we creating one? First, very important, this is going to set you apart with a unique value proposition. Okay? You think about a client who's talking to you. Okay? Imagine they're talking to 3 coaches, right? They're talking to you. So let's say, let's see, who can I use an example here? Right? Liz, right? We'll use Liz as an example. So Liz, coaching teenagers or college kids, helping them figure out what's next, right? So probably the client talking to her is probably talking to 2 other coaches doing something similar, right? And you can imagine coach number 1 says, hey, yeah, I'll coach, I'll coach your college kid. I offer one-off coaching sessions. They're hourly, right? That's coach number 1. Then you talk to coach number 2, and that coach says, hey, I got a package of 10 sessions. Buy my package of 10, okay? And then you talk to coach number 3, right? And coach number 3, you talk to Liz, she's got this signature methodology to move her clients from where they are to where they want to be. If you're talking to those 3 coaches, who are you going to go with, right? The client wants to know you got them. And they can only know that if you have a framework or a method to get them from pain to dream. Okay? This is also going to position you as an expert. You have a signature methodology. You're going to be positioned as an expert. Okay? This is going to result in more sales, right? You are going to be seen as an expert, right? This is also going to be more efficient to coach this way. When you have a method, a signature methodology, I'm telling you guys, it's easier. It's easier to coach when you have a framework. So instead of sending your clients a bunch of one-off coaching homework and assignments like, oh, this person has this problem, let me send them this. This person has this problem, I'm going to send them this, right? It's no longer that way. You have one program you walk everybody through, and that allows you to scale, right? That's going to allow you to scale to 6 figures and beyond. Okay. The other nice thing about having a signature coaching methodology is that it's got built-in content marketing topics, which is so cool because when people are struggling, what do I post on social media? What do I post? All your content marketing topics are based on the signature coaching methodology, right? Your method. Today I'm teaching on part 2 of my method. I never have to wake up and think, what do I teach on? It's just my method, right? So this becomes the basis for your blog or your Facebook Live videos or your podcast, right? You can piece out bits of methodology into your content marketing calendar, and it becomes super easy to do social media then. Also, what's nice is this is built in podcast interview topics, right? You want to get some PR, you want to get out there, you want to be interviewed, you want to be quoted. And, when you're doing that, it can be stressful to kind of scramble like, oh, what am I going to talk about? I'm being interviewed on this podcast. Oh my gosh, right? It's no longer stressful because you've got a method. That's what you talk about is your method. Or, sometimes it's pieces of that method, right? No more scrambling. Okay. So now let's get into the how. Hopefully I convinced you guys on the why. So let's get into the how. So how do you do it? So the most important thing, when we talk about like, okay, I'm going to build a signature coaching methodology, you have to have a niche, right? To build a coaching package without a niche, when I say a niche, that means you're coaching to a specific demographic, or you're coaching on a specific pain point, right? A specific problem. That's your I help who with what statement. If you don't have that, it's going to be a struggle, right? To create a signature methodology. A coaching signature methodology for a CEO who wants to build a better work culture is much different than a coaching signature methodology for a corporate director who wants to transition to a new job, or a divorced woman who wants to find love again, right? All wildly different coaching methodologies to get your clients from pain to dream. So you got to land the plane on the niche, your I help who with what, to move on to building that package, okay? That's part one. Part two is ideal client avatar surveys. So I want you guys to be interviewing some ideal client avatars, some people that you think like, oh, they'd be the perfect client. They really fit the mold for me. You want to interview them and ask them, hey, what are your pains? What are your challenges? What keeps you up at night? Right? This is something I work through with my clients, is helping them come up with these questions. So you want to ask questions about the pains and the dreams that your ideal clients are going through. And then this is important. You want to look for trends. Look for the trends. Make a list of the problems and pains. Look for the common denominator. Make a list of the dreams and goals that she wants, right? Again, looking for the common denominator. And look at the list holistically. And ask yourself, what steps do I need to walk her through to get her from all those pain points she's talking about to her dream, okay? Lastly, you need to understand, this one's a big one, you guys. You need to understand what is the expected outcome of your signature methodology, okay? Here's what I mean by that. What is the what in your I help who with what, right? What is the what? So I help corporate professionals exit their 9-to-5 and repackage their genius so they can build a 6-figure coaching business. That's the what in my statement is my package, right? So you guys need to ask yourself, what is the problem you are solving? So drop that into the comments, you guys. I want to hear from you guys. Each of you has your own, ideal client avatars. You're coaching. What is the problem you are solving for your ideal client avatar? Drop that into the comments. I want to hear, what is the problem you are solving? What did your ideal client avatars tell you they want to achieve? Your signature methodology is meant to help them get there, okay? Let's talk about some areas of inspiration, okay? So here's some areas of inspiration when you're creating your signature methodology. So one is based on your own experience, right? So the 5 C's of building a 6-figure coaching business, my package that I created, that's based on my own experience. This is what I had to do to go from 0 to 100. Right? I was in a corporate job. I got my coaching certification. I was like, now what do I do? Right? So this is what I did my first year in business to get to 6 figures. I know many of you guys and many coaches will choose a niche because that was them 1 or 2 or 3 years ago. So put yourself back in that headspace and think about, what were the steps that you took to get to your goal? What were the challenges you took where you needed help, right? Or where were the challenges where you needed help? So also, second, I want you guys, pro bono. There's nothing wrong with some pro bono coaching or doing a little beta test, when you're first getting started. When I first started, before I moved into business coaching, and I started out as a career coach, I had a couple clients. My first clients, I worked with pro bono or hourly. I did that at first. That was good because it got me testimonials, which are critical for your website and to attract clients. Those are like gold. But also by me doing some pro bono and kind of like a beta test, it allowed me to get a feel for the trends, right? I got to play around with what I wanted my package to look like. I got to find out what are the struggles my clients have along the way to get them from pain to dream. That helped me develop my package down the road, right? So it's okay to play in the sandbox in order to get a feel for what you want your coaching framework to look like. Third is your coach certification material, right? So, I was certified at IPAC. Probably lots of you guys were certified somewhere, right? From some coach certification. We learn lots and lots of content, right? You IPECians, right? You guys, we got all those workbooks. So that, going back through that and thinking about how can I use that in building out a signature methodology for my specific niche. For my career coaching clients, when I started and I was career coaching, I used things in my package like training on limiting beliefs, right? In IPEC, we learn about the gremlin or the inner saboteur, right? I used all that within the context of my methodology because my clients were struggling with that. It was preventing them from their goals, right? They had that imposter syndrome, or they believed they couldn't find a career that they loved because they weren't good enough. So I could use my coach certification material, bake that into my method, right? You can also take a look at the material of, your niche certification, right? So when I started out in career coaching, coming out of IPAC, I took a lot of certifications that specialized on my niche. I took career coach certification courses. There was job seeker networking courses, but that stuff taught me how to teach my clients how to network, how to interview, right? So I started to get this idea of what pieces I needed to include in my package based on what I was learning in the more specific niche certification. Books. I got to throw that in there. Books. Right now, I have a library shelf full of books on business. It's crazy. Buy books on your niche. I probably don't have to tell you that. You guys probably have books on your niche, on your shelf. So go through and look for patterns, right? It's so interesting. When I go through business books, there are patterns, right? I see patterns and trends throughout those books. So highlight it. Go through your arsenal and think about the whole time as you're reading, what are the 3 to 5 pillars or steps in my framework, right? And how does this all tie into that, okay? Like, for example, when I started career coaching, every book I bought, every book talked about networking, right? I couldn't get away from the networking. It was in every book. So of course I knew I had to bake that into my method, okay? So look for those patterns and then put your own spin on it. And then Google. Again, I got to throw that in there, right? So be detectives, you guys. Google your niche statement. Google how to help who with what. Google your I help who with what statement. There are a ton of free resources online to help you brainstorm. And that's what this is, you guys. This is a brainstorm to get your wheels turning, okay? Competition research, highly important, okay? Highly important. I do an exercise with my clients where we build out a competition matrix. So go to your competitors, go to their services page, look at their 3 to 5 steps, pillars, framework, and ask yourself which of these resonates with you and how can you put your own unique twist on that. Now, here's what's very important when you do competition research. So if you guys are doing other stuff, come back to me now because I do want you to take this away. When you look at your competitors, what are they not offering that your ideal client avatar needs? So make a list of what is missing that they need, right? So look for the gap in the marketplace. When you're looking at your competitors, look for the gap. It's your job in your coaching package to fill that gap and offer the stuff nobody else will because it's too hard or it's too expensive. So they're like, I'm not going to deal with that, right? You offer that. That will set you apart. Okay, so now you guys should have a bunch of places. This is a brainstorm, right? Get your whiteboard, brainstorm, get inspired on what could potentially go into your 3 to 5 step package framework. Now we need to do a brain dump and we need to put this to paper, okay? So there are 2 ways to put this to paper after you've done the initial brainstorming. And you have to decide what works better for your niche and what works better for the way your brain functions. Okay, so signature methodology brainstorm method number 1 is baby steps. Okay, so here's my example. Literally, you guys, this is a brain dump. You're just listing out all the stuff that you know that your client needs to do. So maybe you could try to list it in order, but at the end of the day, this is just a list of bullet points that you know at some point your client will need to tackle, right? So brainstorm the baby steps. Now here, once you've got all the baby steps, this example is career coaching, right? So I have a couple clients who are career coaches. So you can go back and look at your steps and say, okay, how does this fit into the larger context, right? So I've got all these things, all these mini steps. What do each of these have in common, right? So like the first 2 steps, overcoming limiting beliefs and imposter syndrome, that's all the inner stuff. Right? Like that's the mindset stuff, right? So, that could be, okay, pillar 1 is overcome self-sabotage, right? So you're looking for how are these steps related, and you're pretty much placing them into buckets, right? Part 2, all the assessments a career coach gives you, like, okay, let's look at your values, let's do a visioning, let's do strengths finders, let's do Myers-Briggs, right? You can bucket all those assessments and say, okay, for this step in my process, I'm going to identify your dream career, and you push all the assessments into step 2. Right? Resume, LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff, that's the branding, right? So that could be step 3. Let me push all that into step 3 of my process. Interviewing, that's a whole nother beast, right? You got to prep, you got to do a thank you letter, you got to interview on video, how do you negotiate, right? You could bucket that into the interviewing. And then networking, right? You could bucket anything to do with networking into a step. So I just kind of want to walk you guys through like how you could take all your baby steps, put them on a whiteboard, and then circle and move them around, the ones that are similar, right? We're trying to bucket the ones that are similar into the same bucket. You can even have fun with this. I think this is a fun way to do it, is use sticky notes. So stick all your sticky notes on your wall. Each sticky note is a baby step. Okay, they need to do this, they need to do that. And then rearrange your sticky notes into groups of 3 to 5. 3 to 5 buckets. That's a really fun activity. Signature methodology brainstorm number 2. List out the 3 to 5 buckets, steps, or pillars. So in this method, it's really we're working backwards. So it depends how your brain works. It's the opposite technique, right? So if you're after your initial brainstorming, you're looking at your books, you're looking at your competitors, you're looking at you're Googling, right? You're looking at your own history. Maybe you already know in your heart, like, okay, I already know there are 3 to 5 major steps or pillars. If you already know what the major steps or pillars are, start there and work backwards, right? So that is the method I used when I created the Build a Six-Figure Coaching Package. I knew that you guys had to get clear on your niche, right? And you can see underneath that all the baby steps. I was like, okay, how does somebody get clear on a niche? They have to validate the market. They have to do ideal client avatar surveys. We're going to do a competition matrix and position them and look for the gap in the market. We have to create an ideal client avatar profile, right? So I started with the big buckets, the big steps, and then I sat down and asked myself what goes underneath each big step, right? So you can do it that way as well, okay? Now, at this point, all right, I hope you guys are thinking about what way your brain works, right? Are you going to go with method 2, start with the big steps? Or are you going to go with method 1, baby steps? Okay, so drop into the comments here, are you going to do method 1, start with your baby steps? Or are you going to do method 2, start with your big steps? And I see Darlene, I help retail boutique and brand owners improve their cash flow and profit through better inventory management. Ooh, that's good. So good and so clear. Love that. Okay. So let's talk about giving your package a title. Okay. So that's what's next here. Your title. The title of your package needs to reflect the what in your I help who with what statement. Right? It's got to reflect the what. Your title also should be reflecting the outcome your client states they want to achieve. When your clients come to you, and hopefully you've done some ideal client avatar surveys, you should have an idea of what do these people want to achieve. Your package is built around the outcome, right, that people are trying to achieve. Look at your ideal client avatar surveys, right? So you should have interviewed your people, and make sure you're using a word or words in your title that your clients use when they talk about the dream or the goal. So don't use coachy words that we use, right? We have coachy language. Use words that your clients use. And clarity in your coaching title and in anything marketing related, clarity over cute, right? Don't try to be too fluffy or cute, or make it so a 10-year-old can understand. Okay, clarity over cute. Right. Couple examples here. Career coach. The name of my business was Career Bliss Coaching Program at the time. Business coach, right? I've got the Build a Six-Figure Coaching Business Model. A health coach could have something like 10 pounds in 90 days, right? Couldn't be any more clear. So clear. A leadership coach, C-suite peak performance formula, right? It's for C-suite, right? So think about it. What's the outcome I'm helping people achieve? Now, the caveat I want to share with you guys, it's okay to change your signature methodology over time. That part's normal. So don't, you guys, as entrepreneurs, as coaches, we are experimenters, right? So have fun with experimenting. My gosh, I get onto my website all the time and I update my package every time I add something new, or I'm switch something around. Okay, so my whole thing to you guys is you got to start somewhere. Don't be in paralysis by analysis because you don't have what you think is the perfect framework. Take imperfect action. Progress, not perfection, right? Every year I do a 2.0 version of my package because I learn new things that I want to include. So the bottom line is, this will change over time, but you got to start somewhere. You need to have that framework. The client has to know that you have a plan in order for them to feel comfortable paying a higher ticket offer. Okay. Principle number 2 in creating a killer coaching package is including some type of resource toolkit in your coaching package. Okay. So I'm talking about the stuff. I'm talking about the stuff, the deliverables, the stuff that your client gets above and beyond your coaching, right? This is the stuff that makes it easier for your clients to get from pain to dream, okay? This is it's kind of like you're giving them a toolkit for them to use as you walk them through your signature methodology, right? It's like a toolkit to help them on their journey, okay? My analogy here, think of your client as a person who tells you, right? Think of your client as a person who tells you, hey, coach, I want to climb Mount Everest. That's what I want to do, coach, right? And think of the peak of the mountain is the client dream or the client goal. And the base of the mountain where they currently are is their pain or their problem. Now, you as the coach, you're the Sherpa, right? And they're hiring you to guide them up this mountain. So you can be the best Sherpa in the world. You could be the most skilled mountain climber. You're like, yes, I got you. Come with me. Put your foot here. Grab that rock. You're awesome, right? You can help them. You can coach them. But you probably still need to arm your clients with tools to get them up Mount Everest, right? Mountain climbing boots. They need a harness. They need a helmet. They need a pick, right? So think of the mountain climbing tools as your package deliverables, the stuff your client needs in addition to your signature methodology to reach their dreams or their goals, okay? So there are 4 different types of deliverables that you can consider adding in your package: access, information, community, tools, and resources, okay? So I just want you guys to be thinking, what kind of stuff can I put in my toolkit to help my client on their journey, okay? So first, let's talk about access. So you could think about how much access do I want to give my clients to me? Now, the more access they get to you, of course, the higher the price, right? So what kind of access? Is it one-on-one coaching, right? So like, I'm doing 18 coaching calls in 6 months. Is it group coaching, right? Maybe you're doing weekly coaching calls. Do they have unlimited email access to you? Is there a private Facebook group where you hop in there for your private clients, you answer questions? What is the level of access they get to you? The more access, the higher the price. information. Okay. A client needs a way to get information from you in between calls, right? It's usually not just the coaching call. It's, there's magic that happens in between, right? So maybe you have a client portal. Maybe this is where you include your digital course as a supplement to this higher ticket coaching package. If you have videos or worksheets or assignments, right? The information, okay? Community. This is often one that people overlook when they think about what kind of a coaching package do I want. Community. How do you want to allow your clients to be able to collaborate and network and mastermind and celebrate and have accountability, right? My Six-Figure Coaches Club, I have a private Facebook group for my paying members. It's a mastermind, right? I also give my group, my VIP members, my one-on-ones, they get access to all of my weekly coaching calls, right? So just think about, how can I build community within my coaching package? That's a value add, right? Some people have in-person events, or, with COVID, some people will do a virtual event that they bring everybody together virtually. So think about that. These are value adds. And then last but not least, tools and resources, right? So the stuff, right? Assessments, maybe you give them a book, right? A business coach maybe gives social media graphics and an email nurture sequence and a lead magnet template, right? That's what I do. A career coach maybe gives you a resume template or a LinkedIn profile template. Spiritual coach, a guided meditation audio. A health coach, a meal plan list, right? So think about, what are some tools and resources I could build into my toolkit, right? Here's a sample, and this is my Build a Six-Figure Coaching Business package deliverables, right? This is the stuff. This is the toolkit, and it's a two-part. First, I have a six-figure coaching business support squad, right? So in addition to business coaching with me, right? And I come in and I help you with your business strategy and your marketing and all that good stuff. I also assign an accountability coach, right? So each client of mine is assigned an accountability coach, personally assigned to them to make sure that they stay on track, right? That they implement. A money mindset coach, right? So I have a money mindset coach who is a pioneer in the industry, a best-selling author, and she comes in and she helps people get out of their own way, right? When it comes to money and pricing. And then of course, a private mastermind community, right? So that's the six-figure coaching business support squad. So I challenge you guys to think about, how can you build a support squad for your clients above and beyond your own expertise? On the right-hand side, I also have a six-figure coaching business in a box, right? I call this a six-figure coaching business in a box. It's my toolkit. I give an on-demand learning center, a lead magnet template, social media graphic kit, email nurture sequence scripts, website copy templates, right? The list goes on and on. I don't need to read it all. But I want you guys just to get an idea of, when I say like, oh yeah, create this, killer coaching package, this is what I'm talking about. I've got a signature methodology. I've got a six-figure business support squad, and I've got a six-figure coaching business in a box. Think about how that could translate to what you do and your niche, okay? One thing that I do want you to think about, the deliverables that you offer will affect the price of your coaching package, okay? So your deliverables, the total value of your deliverables, you want that to be about double the actual price of the package. You want to make it a no-brainer, right? So when you give somebody the price tag, they can see like, whoa, look at what's included, right? It's actually way more valuable than she's even charging, right? So, it's up to you to be able to showcase to your clients that, it's a highly, highly valuable coaching package, and then it becomes a no-brainer. It becomes a no-brainer for them. Here's my old career coaching package. This is another sample. It's kind of little writing, but you could find it if you went and peeked around on my website. But this is another example before I moved into business coaching, right? So you can see on, my website, I showcased on the left-hand side a description of what my package was and how it helps people get from pain to dream, right? So you can see the name at the top of the package, and on the left, I have a summary. What is this? How's it going to get you from pain to dream? And then on the right-hand side, that was some of my career coaching package deliverables, right? So as a career coach, I had a professional resume writer, right? And I added her to my squad, and a LinkedIn branding specialist. I added her to my squad, right? Like, so that's all the stuff. Okay. So think about, you guys, how can you create a highly valuable coaching package? Let's see here. So drop in the comments, you guys. Even I want to hear, what is one piece of value that you include in your coaching package, whether that's community, information, tools and resources, right? Drop me a comment and let me know, what is one piece of value that you currently include in your coaching program for your clients? Again, here, this is my old example when I was career coaching. This is my method, right? So on my website, I showcased what's my methodology, step 1, step 2, step 3, right? And I gave people an understanding of why is each step critical in getting you from pain to dream, okay? Principle 3 is scaling and simplifying. Okay, so the good news is, you guys, at this point, you've done the heavy lifting. Okay, so scaling, simplifying what does not work, right? Shorter engagements, lower ticket, one-off digital courses, too many choices, right? When that is the case, it is very hard to scale and simplify. Okay, so what does work? 2 offers is really best, right? And the cool thing is, when you have 2 different offers, it's the same methodology. You're not going to use one method for this offer and one method for that. It's the same methodology. So what you could shoot for is one VIP one-on-one coaching package. That's a longer engagement, right? So that could be a 3-month or a 6-month or a year-long engagement. The pricing is based on access to you. So of course, that's a higher ticket package. Then you could offer a downsell, right? So typically, in the perfect world, the downsell is like a group coaching program. It's the same exact content. It's the same exact toolkit. It's the same exact methodology. The only difference is access to you, right? So the benefit of this is that when you're kind of structured like this, you can capture different price points. Somebody can't afford a one-on-one, no worries. You've got a group. This also is going to help you just with your time, right? You're going to burn out if you are bringing on too many one-on-ones. You're going to burn out. So it's important to have that downsell to allow you to scale. And what I'll say to you guys is, if you aren't quite ready for the group yet, that's okay, right? You could still have you could do 2 one-on-one options, but just expect most people will probably go with the lower cost option. So for example, if you're selling a package, you're like, I want to do a 6-month coaching package, you probably want to offer a 1-year package and then your downsell be a 6-month, right? But eventually you probably want to scale to learn how to add a group program. At a certain point as well, you guys, that digital course or online learning center, you're going to want to put all that stuff into an online, on-demand learning center like I did. Here, this is Member Vault. It's free. Kajabi is great as well. Of course, they're more expensive. But when you put all of your goodies from your methodology and your toolkit into an on-demand learning center, you don't have to send out homework anymore. It's all right there. You can just direct your clients, tell them where to go. Okay. So building a high-value coaching package this way works. I have clients who are selling $13,900 coaching packages, right? Krista's got her method, her toolkit. She's targeted and she's selling, almost 14K coaching packages. My client Vanessa, right? She was another one. She, when I started working with her, she was just leaving her corporate role as a vice president. And, we blew out a business for her in her career coaching and leadership business. And she got to 6 figures within her first year of business. Okay. Bottom line, you guys, the last thing that I really want to just impart to you is that creating a high ticket coaching package, while awesome, and I love talking about it, it's so fun, it's a piece of a larger strategy to get to 6 figures. It's a piece of a larger strategy. And all of these elements are necessary to replace your corporate income with a 6-figure coaching business, right? So when I say choose the right niche as part 1, it's not just, oh, I chose my niche. It's did you validate the market? Did you create a unique value proposition? Do you have powerful messaging? Did you position yourself well? Did you tap into the pains and dreams of your ideal client avatar? That's part 1. Choose the right niche. Part 2, create a killer coaching package. We kind of touched on this today, right? I gave you guys an overview, right? So this is, blowing out that signature methodology, that toolkit, and also, writing copy and being able to describe it in a way that's appealing to the client. Part 3, curtains up, launch your brand. This often entails a relaunch if you didn't come out the gate strong the first time. So this is making sure you are branded the right way. You have compelling website copy, an irresistible lead magnet, email nurture sequence, optimized profiles, right? That's all part of step 3. Step 4, client attraction system. So this is, I like to use LinkedIn client attraction system. Facebook groups, obviously, I love Facebook groups as well. But this is also more than that. It's how do you get PR? How do you get quoted in the media? How do you build out a referral tree? How do you create a fail-proof system to have calls booked each week? That's part 4. And part 5 is closing the deal. Right? So it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm going to get on a sales call, right? That's a process. You got to pre-qualify people before you get on the phone. You need a powerful script. You have to know how to handle objections. You have to know how to create a powerful proposal that showcases the value of your package, right? Everything that we talked about. I just want to, impart to you guys all of these elements must be dialed in to get you to 6 figures in your coaching business. All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed today's training. Drop me a comment and let me know what is the first action you're going to take when it comes to building out your killer coaching package. Drop me a comment. I just want to know the first action you're going to take based on what you learned today. Now, in the meantime, I would love to invite you guys to join me in an upcoming masterclass, how to ditch your 9-to-5 and repackage your genius into a 6-figure coaching business. So this is going to be a masterclass. Currently, this is going to be a Zoom call. So this is not going to be in the Facebook group currently. So it's really important if you want to attend, you must register with your name and email in the link that I posted in the description in this Facebook Live. So take a look at the description of this Facebook Live. I dropped a link to register. And this is just going to be a deep dive. We're going to do a Zoom call. I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did my first year as a coach after leaving corporate America to get to six figures. I'm also going to share common mistakes to avoid when transitioning from corporate to building a coaching business. I'm going to do more of a deep dive into my signature methodology, the 5 C's of building a 6-figure coaching business. And really, we're going to do a lot of, diving into how do you niche down, how do you attract clients, how do you nail discovery calls, right? So I'm really excited for this. First time I've done a masterclass like this. So I would love for you guys to join me. Check out the link in the copy, register with your name and link so that you get the info on the Zoom call so that you can actually attend. Okay. And then last but not least, of course, I'm always here for you guys. If you want to hop on a discovery call, go ahead and apply, right? So again, I put the link to apply for a discovery call in the comments. I am happy to hop on the phone and walk you through a strategy, right? Walk you through, because everybody's at a different point in this process, right? So I'm here to walk you through a strategy of how to get from A to Z. All right, you guys. So I'm checking my comments here. Susan, you're going to really figure out your niche. I love it. Okay, Susan. So make sure, Susan, you check the guides section of the Facebook group for the niche training. I did a niche training recently as well in the Facebook group. So go back and take a look at that. Darlene, you're in the brainstorming. I love it. I know you probably have so many juicy ideas in your brain right now. So get that whiteboard and brainstorm away. And then, you guys continue to post in the group. We're here to support you guys as you go on this journey. So, all right. See if I can bring it back